Scale, exit, repeat. 26 best startup ideas to launch in 2026. Today, we're going to jump into it. We're really going to jump into an incredible show about the ideas, the business ideas, the business environment in 2026. And we're doing this all live here on Clubhouse. As we get set up here, and as the audience comes in, I'm just gonna play our theme song, the song that came out at the beginning, about mid-year, using AI, and we'll just get that started, and I'll run it for about 30 seconds. Michelle Van Tilburg, our co-host. We start with a spark, a whisper, a dream. While others are sleeping, we're building our team. They say it won't work, we've heard it before, but we're kicking down doubt and breaking the door. Sleepless nights, coffee stains, losing it all and trying again. We've failed 100 times or more, but that's what makes our we are entrepreneurs, we stand unshaken, bold with a vision, the world not forsaken, laughed at, doubted, called insane, still you rise through fire and pain. We build, we break, we rise once more, changing lives and opening doors. We are the fighters, the doers, yeah, we are entrepreneurs breaking through. Each no is a step to the yes that will come. Each fall just reminds us we're far from done. We solve the problems no one else will touch because we believe we care that much. We carry the weight of the world in our hands, disrupting the systems, rewriting the plans. It's not just a hustle, it's deeper than gold. It's lighting a path for the brave and the bold. We are laid open, building futures from words unspoken. They call us crazy, we wear it proud. They call us crazy, we wear it proud. Wow, I love that song. It's an inspiration to me every time I listen to it. You can get it on YouTube. Just search for We Are Entrepreneurs Startup Club and you'll get that video. And it's quite an interesting video. And our graphics guys had a lot of fun with it. They used obviously a lot of AI in 2025. AI was this paradigm shift that hit about 2 years ago. And then now we're getting a lot of sub shifts. Michelle, today's topic is about startup ideas for 2026. Let's talk first about the environment and how are you feeling? I know you're CEO of a big e-commerce company, right? And you're heading into a new year. And I just want to get your sense as to how you think the environment's changing entering this year versus last year.
All right. And I'm talking the business environment, obviously not the environment, because that's a whole,
And yeah,
that's a whole Pandora's. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, because that's a whole Pandora's box that we actually might want to comment on. You made me think of another idea, actually, Colin, because there is a lot of impact on the environment because of AI. But let's talk about the business and general environment. Looking at the list, and obviously many of us contributed to that list. So thank you, everyone who was in the last session where we discussed this at quite length. So I would say I think there's massive opportunities in those that become experts. There were several overlapping businesses that were about people just helping people with AI, right? Like helping people with agents on it, helping people just integrate and set this up into their business. And even there was one I think I had mentioned about smart home automation, like that's grown by leaps. You know what? I don't think I could do that by myself. I need somebody to help me. I need an expert to help me. And I'm thinking about like my New Year's resolutions. I know I'm going a little sideways here, but a lot of it is about education, Colin. So I think if we're really looking to capitalize on a lot of this next technology, I think it would be amazing to be able to access people that really know what they're talking about and doing to help us with that. I don't have time to sit here for 20 hours a week learning it. I have a real job.
yeah, it's the world's got more complicated, and
Yeah.
entrepreneurs can step in and help it make it less complicated for people all over the world, and I think AI is probably the number one thing that stands out for 2026. The environment, like I know we went into stand by live phone calls here. We went into 2025 thinking this was going to be a pretty good year, and it seemed like a pretty rough year with tariffs, interest rates, inflation, election changes, massive changes in technology. What about 2026? I don't know. Beginning to feel really good about it, but I'll hold off on that.
All right, I think we need for some people to come up on the stage here. This is an open mic today, and we want to hear what the members think about what are the opportunities, even challenges, I'll say as well, for 2026. So raise your hand. I see we have maybe, if, yeah, we have a few people actually. I'm going to try to bring some people up here on the stage. I see raised hands. I don't know if they changed the app again, Colin, but I see like
They're always funky with this app, aren't they?
yeah, like it says raised hands, everyone can. Are
That's
you?
like we got two people raised hands, but they haven't come up yet. But they probably just have to
Oh,
accept
here we
it.
go. Here we go. We have Sunny. I,
Pauline, hi Michelle.
yeah, let's jump into it. Be very succinct, please, and just let's help each other out here, Sunny. Go for it.
Yeah, so basically, my name is Sunny, and I'm doing a lot of things into artificial intelligence, and I'm also into metaverse this thing, as you can see my DP. And if you can check my bio as well, I am into blockchain technology as well. So it is like I was into all these things back in 2017, and under COVID, this beautiful platform got launched, Clubhouse, and I got involved with many of other stuffs as well. So Clubhouse helped me in those days during pandemic to get involved with as a startup consultant as well. So I started my a very small startup consultancy from then, and it has also got evolved. Right now, I'm successfully helping a few of the startup in my local vicinity, and through which I just started running a very successful WhatsApp group all across the world where people are collaborating and sharing their thoughts on that WhatsApp group, and they are also doing very great networking out of that group. So right now I'm working with an AI company which has developed an AI based SaaS product, AI for enterprises. So I'm also closely working with one of the person who is developing his own metaverse. I'm based in Switzerland, and that is what I'm doing right now. And yes, as Colin has mentioned, 2026 will be very much exciting year for those people who will definitely get into this AI stuff. But yes, we should have to understand the basic proposition of AI as well. It should not be like anyone is pumping into AI stuff and it will become a bubble for them. We need to understand in a very precise way the pros and cons of each and everything whatsoever we are doing into upcoming technology as we are sitting under the patch of this transition of its own existence.
Thank you,
So
Sonny. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think you're right that we're talking about an incredible environment in 2026. This could be the most transformative, opportunistic business environment for startups in our lifetime and maybe in history. We have a number of very interesting factors all coming into play. The first is you have massive transformation in technology and really related to AI. And then you've got the interest rates falling, which has quite frankly, we run an incubator here, about 20 companies we've invested in. And this interest rates have been just like strangling these freaking companies, like strangling the entrepreneurs. But we're looking at a dropping interest rate environment, a lower inflation environment. We're looking at higher productivity related to AI. We're looking at a better capital market. We do the time to sell index. We last reported at 26 out of 100, and anything below 50 is a buyer's market. Anything above 50 is a seller's market. But it's been a brutal market. It was 6.8 only a year or two ago. Now it's up to 26. This year seems to be coming back, but we're looking at some indicators that show that next year the liquidity is gonna really boom, and it's going to be incredible for private equity and for entrepreneurs because it all flows down from that IPO market. And when liquidity begins to hit the market, when you've got technological shifts, change that we've never seen this kind of change in our society at this kind of level, that is massive disruption, massive opportunity for every entrepreneur who wants to stick their neck out there and make something happen. And what I liked about what you said, Sonny, was this idea of SaaS, like software as a service, that is still back and is still strong. And you can do that with AI companies as well. I think that's definitely one of the top on our list is to launch software based companies. I know on our list we also had new domain extensions. Michelle and I have been involved in those in the past. I did .ca as one of the founders of .ca, but then more recently in 2012 we did .club, and we took that out and launched it and sold 1 million names and sold it to GoDaddy, the company, in 2022. The organization ICANN is opening that up to the world again, and you'll be able to apply for your own domain extension. So that's an opportunity in 2026. We put it on the list. It's not a business for everyone. It is an opportunity though for those who really want to stick their neck out and make a big gamble and potentially make a big payoff, but it's not for everyone. We have
Well, I
26
think
startup
therein, but
ideas for you.
therein is like where we really need the community. Like I'm guessing most people wouldn't know that as an example. You all know things that we don't know, and we really are leaning on this club, on this the members like to help each other with these kind of like little interesting niches that maybe they can work with other people in the club or just bring as an opportunity in general.
Yeah, so Michelle, of the 26 on the list, which is your favorite? We
Well,
published this
I think I
article.
said that. I just said I like the ones where you mean favorite. Oh my gosh, I want to do it, or
Yeah,
like
like
what?
a virtual
Yeah,
restaurant, like a ghost restaurant that
I think
you know
that's been
is
around a
through
long
Uber Eats.
time.
That's obviously not your choice, although you told me you love baking today. So
I know I
maybe who
do.
knows?
Okay, so like I said, I love these ones where people that have like deep or gaining deep knowledge, because it's hard to say you have the knowledge yet, it's so new, but gaining this knowledge in everything AI, because there's a lot of rhetoric out there, BS rhetoric. I'm going to say, oh, just do this, just do AI. But if you're really going to do it and you have a business and make it substantial, you really need to some deep knowledge. So there's this whole new opportunity for people to become subject matter experts that could be a really fast track to some nice wealth. It's not, oh God, I'm going to go be an AI attorney. I'm not saying that. It's just like understanding how agents really work and how to analyze and put them into people's systems. So I really like that one in particular, which we didn't explicitly call out in the article. I like it from a marketing standpoint. I am very interested and I'm looking for, hopefully I'll have some time to do this over the holiday, is especially when it comes to running meta ads, calling in Instagram and Google. I'm very interested to see what people are doing there.
Yeah, and you're also running a paw.com, a big e-commerce company, and you're heading into 2026. E-commerce has been really tough with the tariffs and the interest rates and the competition and Meta changing their ad algorithms and stuff. How is it looking for 2026 for e-commerce to start an e-commerce company?
I think there may be opportunities for people to be on the forefront because, like, I'm sitting on a bunch of inventory, and obviously, we're going to have a liquidation sale starting Monday. Like, we're going to massively clear inventory out, like 65%. But there is an opportunity for people to like do it a different way using very modern technology. And I would start with the marketing part and even like figuring out like from inventory part two. Like I think these days where you're making these massive investments, there's a lot of options out there. But at paul.com, like we're trying to pivot in that direction. It's a little hard because we're already a big brand and have lots of great products, but that's where my head's at for this company. and I need it more for analytics. And I see my tech stack for marketing, okay? Like my Triple, my Clavio, my Yotpo, they're all in, even Canva, not that we use Canva a lot, but even like Canva, like they're kicking ass at the tools that they're launching to help people.
Yeah, so
And
it's never
I'm,
been easier to launch an e-commerce business,
yeah,
right?
I'm like, okay, so you're telling me I could do much better with whatever, call it virtual and AI like agency. Like you know what? It's like fine and your boss tells you that, whatever, but it's like you do have to put a little bit of time into it and understand what's going on. I do believe that there is a lot of opportunity there. And I'm excited to be able to explore that in the next year here.
Yeah, and what we've
Yeah,
seen that works in e-commerce has been companies that operate or offer something different in the marketplace. You don't even have to be better. You simply have to be different to win on Amazon and to win with your own brand like paw.com. I do think it's a good year. Also, again, I'm going to come back to interest rates. When you get inventory loans at 20%, that's not a solution that's going to, or a structure that a financial structure that's going to get you to success. But as interest rates begin to come down, it does make borrowing costs a little lower, and I think that's going to help e-commerce companies as well. All right, we've got a couple people on stage. If you're in the audience, you want to just jump on stage and contribute, we'd be happy to hear from you. As Michelle said, this is an open mic session today. It's our last show of the year, and we're talking about startup ideas for 2026. We're looking at trends and technologies and opportunities and ideas that you can launch in 2026 that can help you build wealth. Some of them are small, some of them take very little investment, some take a lot of investment, but we're just trying to knock a few of those off. And the article was published on startup.club, and now it's a national website, gets national exposure, front page of Google on every article now. So it's been really getting a lot of attention. And you can go to startup.club and read all of those articles in 2026. It costs nothing, everything's free on startup.club. We also have a mailing list that you can sign up to, and every month we launch a masterclass email. So, one masterclass in an email. It's like the longest email you've ever seen in your life, but trust me, it's loaded and loaded with great shit that can help you start your business, or help you launch a business, or help you scale a business, or help you exit the business as well. It's start, scale, exit, repeat, of course. All right.
We have Tanish.
Tanish, is that? I'm working on the pronunciation there.
Tanish, is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Colin.
Hi.
How are you?
We're
Hello,
awesome.
we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, myself, I'm Tanish. I'm from India. And if we talk about my startup, it's a very different kind. I'm into finance field and I have a startup that is very similar to a hedge fund. Yes, we have similar design of hedge funds like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. We have a little different kind of design. We actually first do the process which is called prospectus analysis of multiple types of companies which are in the indices. There are multiple types of indices like Germany 40 DAX, which is called DAX, and there is one NASDAQ which is called US 100, and there are multiple types of indices. So our main part is to do the prospectus analysis, and after that we have meetings with investors, and we have a big like network from worldwide investors from Bahrain, US, UK, and multiple countries. So we basically deal with them, and in finance field, like we discuss with them that what are their diversification preferences in equity market and in the investor private equity market, multiple types. Like our main motive, if we talk about our main motive, that is to diversify the wealth properly according to the what is the inflation and everything. According to that, will guide how to diversify your wealth into multiple streams, multiple equities. What is private equity? Like I have heard Colin speaking, and I'm very impressed with him. He told us about private equities and what can the new startups can do. So I'm quite impressed with you, Colin, and I really appreciate that. Uh,
About me.
yes, you also, Michelle. I really appreciate that. So it was outstanding after
So
hearing
are
about
you,
private equities.
yeah,
Yes, tell
are
me.
you using AI when you talk about a lot of this data stuff? Like, how are you
No, no,
using
no.
AI in your business model?
Yes, we are using AI, which is basically for the data analysis part for the financial sectors. Like it's very complicated to track every type of news. Newses are a very big part in our startup because that affects multiple types of fundamentals. If we talk about CPI, PPI, Producers Price Index, CPI, which is for Consumer Price Index, and we have to track exactly what Trump is saying at the moment and what Jerome Powell, the Fed speaker, the chairperson, is speaking. What is the Bank of Japan Ueda is speaking, which is the governor of Bank of Japan. So there are multiple types of things which we have to track, and we have to align the fundamental analysis and the technical analysis part to perfectly guide our clients. So we have multiple types of clients, like we have HNIs, high net worth individuals, and we also have UHNIs, ultra high net worth individuals from multiple countries. So basically, the simple language, a startup is to guide people how can you perfectly diversify your wealth. That's it. And that too in a very like basic model. And we do it for free. If we talk about the profit part, like how we earn profit from them, if we are telling you what to diversify your wealth in, like you have to diversify some of your wealth in the tech companies, some in the real estate companies, some in the fundamental companies, some in the healthcare companies. That is the like main thing where you have to diversify, and you have to go along with the inflation and the deflation that your like GDP and the economy is handling at the moment. That is a startup for you like this time. And also have my partner in the audience, who is Ursh. He's basically operating a startup from Dubai, UAE.
Okay, Dubai is a great place. We've heard a lot of good things about Dubai.
Yes, Dubai is the best place because there is no income tax there. Like we can save a lot of money there, and we can use the income also again in the diversification part. So here I have Ursh. He's my partner. We just recently opened a startup 2 months ago.
I have a
Well,
friend who runs a
congratulations.
we have a friend, Michelle and I, who runs a company. He's Indian, he lives in Dubai, and he offers accountants out of India on a sort of BPO, business process outsourcing, to American companies, and he's done very well. I think is going to. You would think it's all about America, but then they throw $100,000 visa fee to get into the United States, and now you're going to probably see a lot more companies offering BPO and other services outside the United States because they cannot afford companies cannot afford to bring in and pay $100,000 for a 3-year visa for one of their potential prospective employees. Again, another little piece of regulatory shift that's leading into 2026, but the opportunity is in that. We do want to move on. We got a number of people who are on stage, and we'd really like to get to.
Well,
But
we
thank
have
you for
another
sharing that.
from there too, actually, who's massively successful. They're billionaires. Is the guy's Bhavin and his brother Divyanka. Like it is an amazing place to run a business, Dubai. But anyways, I sidetrack. All right, let's go to Masri.
Hello, hello, Michelle. Hey,
Hello.
Colin and Mimi. How's it going?
Very
It's
good, very
going
good. What are your
great.
thoughts on 2026? Are we gonna have a good year or not?
Oh my God. 20, we have seen 2025, the genie is out of the box, right? It's out of the chat box.
It wasn't
And
as
now
good as I
it's
thought it would be, but
That's
exactly
good. I
that's
like that. That's good.
it's out of the chat box, but it's not as good as you thought it would be. Yet the AI agents out there are naive. They claim to be experts. The people who sell you these AI agents all the time, you find out at the end they are basically some automation scripts, right? And they send an email. Maybe they understand context because they have now the capability of analyzing context and natural language, but still there is common naivety between all these AI agents. They are not as good as we thought they would be. So I think the major trend of 2026 will be slightly different. The focus here will be more on finding these AI experts who understand the underlying mechanics of the AI agents and can build you very specialized agents that act as the brain of your company, can take over a whole task from A to Z and execute it and retry and get it done. I've seen myself some of these platforms online that generate online influencers. They are getting better and better over the year. And now what used to be like an exhausting job to build an AI influencer 2 years ago, you need to install a lot of small pieces of software to synthesize the voice and sync the lip sync with the influencer with the voice. Then at the end of the day, it used to still produce a very unnatural video experience. But now it's getting way better and better. Now I'm even creating some of these videos for my own website, and I think it would work actually. It's one place you can go and generate the whole video and persona and use it multiple times and it's completely like a new character. It's not like just use one off the shelf that's already trained, but you can personalize it for your own website and business. We'll see that trend. I think we'll see that trend over and over again in specialized industries, but not in robotics yet. Robotics, I've seen on the article, one of the areas or one of the businesses that you said here, like number 3, skilled trades, like plumbers and electricians and have each.
Yeah, we think there's going to be a whole new opportunity for entrepreneurs who have skilled trades and who want to get back to the basics. And one of them is there's a shortage in the United States right now in all those industries. And then if you add on to it that there's a shortage, but if you add on to it that it's not going to be taken away by AI, you'll have some do-it-yourself home projects, okay, that the AI can help you with. Although I've tried a few of those, it didn't work out so well. But the reality is, I think that's going to be an opportunity for those who want to develop skills and then launch their own business around that.
But not necessarily the robotics part. You cannot get a robotics electrician yet who comes to your home and
No,
sets
no,
up
no.
no, just something exactly,
It
something online, yeah.
it will not be possible to include robotics in all these kind of skillful jobs. Why? Because there is a reason. Every human being has its
Hmm.
own unique ability to deal with such kind of scenarios because human contain senses with their movements. So those movements help them to make a unique understanding to work with all kinds of tools. So no a robot can shift that kind of working flow, and we also need to understand that we are sitting right now at the patch of the transition of the entire humanity or human race or human intellectual. So by next 2 to 3 years of time, everything will get transition in the form of AI, especially those jobs which are in repetitive way and like call center job, like editing,
Hmm.
filmmaking, like these kind of day-to-day tasks. So those will be get transition to the AI world, and a skillful job will be done by human only as if now until these robots will get so much of sensible enough to understand the value of five senses basically which human contains, if they will reach at that particular level. This is the part of discussion right now at a very higher level, but yes, skillful job will not be get taken away with all these kind of robots as if now, that is quite sure.
Yeah, great. We've got Paige on stage. We do want to move on because there are a lot of different business ideas, a lot of different concepts out there. So I'd like to hear from Paige. She just jumped on stage and hear from you, Paige, about what do you think is going to happen in 2026?
Hey, Colin, great to see you. Great to see everyone on stage. I have tried to sit back and think about during this period of what am I trying to do? And you mentioned the Teriyaki Brothers. One of the things that he said on your show that was one of the best takeaways I've had in 3 years was when someone asked him, what would you do differently? And there's a guy who's had $1 billion exits. And he said, I wish I would have thought more time about what to do as opposed to just diving in and doing it, work hard. So I thought about that here just recently. And then when I saw your invite, I said, I'll come up and say hi. For me, I think 2026, and I saw this in one of my trend reports, the title was Quality, Not Quantity. And it made me think about we've gone through the first mover advantages on AI, and people want what's next, what works, how was it going to work with my life? So quality and then integration was the other big word that they shared. So for me, it's basically people are now ready to say, what does AI do for me right now? And I think there's room to be the second mover, you know what I mean, as you talk about in your book, probably not the first mover, but the second mover who's better. You don't you get a feeling, Colin, that we've seen the first wave? So everyone knows you're not first, right? You didn't invent the first LLM, you didn't invent the first thing, but now you really have a chance to shine. So I'm going to try to find ways to integrate with quality, either in the digital space, the domain space, or the solving problem space. So how's that for vague? But great to see you.
No, it is really nice to see you. And it's been a while since we've seen you on this app, but really always enjoy your wisdom and advice. I do think that we are in the very early innings of a massive paradigm shift, greater than the one we saw in 1993 when the World Wide Web came online. And we're looking at with AI a lot of technological innovation, and there's going to be a lot of sub shifts or sub shocks. I don't have a name for it. I'm terming it myself here a little bit. But each one of those sub shocks are going to result in new paradigm shifts, which will be opportunities for entrepreneurs. We're starting to see that already with, for instance, music based AI apps and video based AI apps. And there's not one AI for everyone. It's going to break out into hundreds of different AIs and new technology innovations. And with each of them, you'll be able to take them, grab one and work with it and develop and build a business around it. This is going, I truly believe 2026 will be the best year of our lifetime to start a business. It really is, because you've got an opportunity here with the lower interest rates, a better environment, the new technology shifts, and yeah, there's still some challenges out there. It's been a really rough 2 3 years here as a page in the United States and around the world since the 2022 tech wreck and crypto crash. But things are now seem to be on the mend, and we seem to be heading in a much better direction in a lower inflation rate environment with higher productivity. I'll tell you one thing, I'll be happy to see. Sorry, I'm going to offend a few people here when I say this. I'll be happy to see a lot of lawyers working at Starbucks over the next few years because of the AI.
Yeah, and Colin, I might also say that I think the side hustle will be back in 26.
How can it not,
Just
Paige? Like,
have
how could it not? Because
with that.
with AI, you can do any side hustle. There's so many opportunities to do side hustles.
Yeah, you can deliver all the steak without the infrastructure. You could solve someone's problem without a, can you wait 6 months for me to build it? You know what I mean? And then I'll solve your problem. You can find out if you solve problems for people incredibly fast. But I also think the status quo took a hit in 2025. Your one effort isn't enough financially. You know what I mean? We're worried about a recession. We're worried about inflation. The Fed's worried about this. They're not worried about people that are just making enough and that need to make a little more. And I think I was thinking about that, Colin, in terms of the true startup. You remember the hunger you have when you didn't raise 10 million to fund it, right? You were like, this has got to work. This has got to be profitable. We don't have the cushion of 6 months of run rate in the bank, right? And that's where the good ideas come from, because you're hungry at that point, Colin. It's got to work, and you try harder, I think.
See, Page, that is the only beauty of AI because what was happening since past 2 decades, every startup founder was having multiple ideas, but they were bound to stick with one idea only because every idea used to consume time to create that kind of product in a practical physical life. So right now, what a single founder can do, they can execute their ideas in a various level with the help of AI only. So that is how AI can help them to leverage their idea in a real world. And that is how AI will help because, for example, a single website used to take almost to get in place, you can say 1 month or 1.5 months of time. It used to take this much of time. But right now, it only takes half an hour or 1 hour of time to create a single website by a single prompt. So that is the beautification of the AI, whereas it can help a single person to create multiple ideas. Physical,
Page or shadows? Can you hear Michelle? We're getting some real bad.
It's coming through a little rough for me.
Yeah, I'm not picking you up, Michelle. I'm sorry. We're not picking you up. No, Michelle, we're not picking you up.
I
All right, sorry, Michelle, we're not picking
think
you
we're
up at
having
all.
problems with.
But I was going to say, Paige, we've had a lot of changes since in the last couple of years at Startup Club. Now the website is everything. It's getting a national recognition. Every article goes on the front page of Google. And if you ever wanted to contribute and share your expertise and get exposure, we'd absolutely love to have you as a contributor to write an article there. And also anyone else who is listening to this on podcast or on YouTube or whatever, we're looking for contributors to add to this community in a bigger way. Clubhouse has gone through a lot of challenges, ups and downs and everything, and we've not had a good ride with Clubhouse, I can assure you of that. But we've stuck around and we continue to do shows. Now every one of our shows also becomes an article, and that article gets great exposure on Google as well. We do a lot of editing. It's raw content from the show that's turned into an article, which is now published on startup.club. Shadows, really appreciate you jumping on the last show of the year. I think this is show number 200 or 201, whatever it comes out at. But we really appreciate Paige and Shadows like you coming on, and you always have great advice. What do you think about 2026? Now, let's not get caught up into the stock market and all that kind of stuff. There is no bubble when it comes to transformative change, right? Where we're looking at now is an opportunity for an individual to start a business. Maybe it's a side hustle, like Paige says, and launch a business and use AI as a way of supplementing. And here's the thing, you can identify opportunities when you're in your business, when you're at a job and you're in your industry, and you can think, oh, if this works for my company, could it work for other companies as well? And could I sell or package this idea up and sell it to others? It really is. 2026 really will be probably one of the greatest years in entrepreneurship and on the planet. It is going to be phenomenal. I'm so excited about this time in history, and to be someone who was there in 1992 when the World Wide Web came out, and to be there when broadband hit in 2000s, social media 2008, the app, there's an app for that in 2010s, and now in 2020, we're all here on this app in November of 2023 saying, holy shit, this ChatGPT thing is really amazing. It can write poems like you've never seen before, much better than we could do it. And now we're seeing just unbelievable technology shifts. And we're just talking about AI. We haven't even touched upon other businesses like real estate. But the reality is, a lot of these businesses are going to benefit from the AI because they'll help you with design, architecture, whatever it is. We want to look at history. Pager, student of history. The dot com crash the NASDAQ dropped from 5,000 to 1,100. Can you imagine a stock market dropping by almost 80%? Could you just imagine that for a second? Okay, but was the internet real or not? Right? And I know that Thomas Friedman, who wrote The World is Flat, talked about that in his book, that this concept that they had invested a lot in building broadband and connecting the globe, creating a global environment. And the reality is they made that investment, WorldCom and all these other companies, some of them crashed and burned, of course, but they made this investment, and so it unleashed this opportunity to launch so many new things. Look at companies like Netflix, Nvidia, unbelievable, $5 trillion. Look at what's happened around the world with the technology, and by enabling technology and the opportunities that have existed. I did an article on this, and it's the title of an upcoming book, which is how to catch the next tech wave from the internet to AI. And I did a little study, and I looked at the cryptocurrency companies. 9 out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies were started in the last 12 years. They're all startups. You couldn't make this up. This is unbelievable. This demonstrates that we really have massive change is not embraced by big corporations, but this is enter the entrepreneur. This is the opportunity for the entrepreneur.
Where I'm heading in 2026 is to build layers of digital products onto the Echo project that I've been doing for the last 2 years. So I've got a huge inventory of Echoes to work with, and that's where I'm heading in 2026.
Yeah, and I think Echo, you're talking about environment, right?
No, it's the project that I've been doing the last couple of years where I start every day with a word, then I make an image, and then I put out basically it's an inspirational message.
Okay. Oh, I remember. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I've started building digital products on top of that.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So the other thing too is you have these assets, these assets. Like Michelle, you have the Meowingtons. You've done 5 years of hand drawn cartoons, daily cartoons, hand drawn. 5 years of it, and now you could take AI and you can animate them, turn them into videos. You're looking at making a calendar now with with the best of cartoons. Yep, Michelle, you still with us? I just doing a sound check with you if you're gonna come on. No, I think
No,
we
I'm here. I'm here.
oh, we got you. You're still alive.
Yeah.
Something happened, but you just started your voice just went off when you were talking last time.
Might have been our internet, and I'm not on the internet anymore.
I'm on the
So
internet over here, same building, but what doesn't matter.
no, I'm on the phone. I went off the internet on my phone. All right. So what was your question?
But no, I was about Meowingtons and how you can have IP or existing assets, and then you can utilize AI to take those assets and make something more of them, like video content or calendars or any of those
Yeah,
kind of things.
we've always done that, but I do believe that there's a lot more opportunity to do that a lot, gosh, practically at no cost, just like labor. Whereas, and it would have cost a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars. And it's one of the areas that we truly do need to lean into more because we obviously have invested many years and much labor in creating all that content.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Eileen. I don't. That's another tough one to pronounce. I know you've been on stage a few times with us, but Aileen.
Yeah, hey Colin, hey Michelle, Aline here. Yeah, always enjoy these conversations. So, my take on 2026, though, is I believe that a lot of these AI focused tools, specifically for enterprise, are going to reach an adoption issue because at some point the teams are going to start raising their hand and saying there's a massive disconnect with some of these tools and they're not really solving the problems or the root problems. I think that from what I've studied, especially on LinkedIn and the people posting and sharing what their quick one stop solutions are, there's a massive gap in data architecture analysis and also a massive gap in understanding the workarounds that so many teams, especially like niche teams, accounting and frontline teams, things like that, have in place. And they're not always factored into the end to end AI focused workflow solutions or this tool or that tool. So I believe that we're actually going to see a drop in adoption and that question mark of is this actually solving the problem, which is going to be a great opportunity for the fixers of the world, the ones who understand enterprise, the one who understands like really how to go in and really try to find the root cause and really understand the problems that they're solving. But on the flip side, on the founder journey, I think that we're going to see more and more of the people in tech that have been laid off, such as myself, launch their businesses, launch their small businesses, try entrepreneurship. But in my perspective, a winning combination is going to be storytelling because we're in this world of so much AI content right now. So the authentic storytelling and the true storytelling where people can really connect with that person that's selling the product or the service might be a winning factor. But that's just a couple of thoughts that come into mind for 2026. And I think 2027 is going to be the year where even if these companies, a lot of them that are launching, get quick fast early buy-in, they're going to have some realization if their product isn't intentionally designed to actually solve the underlying problems that a lot of enterprises have.
Yeah, I'm wondering like if these technological shifts will lead to layoffs, and then those people getting laid off, the smart ones like yourself, are saying, how do I create a business in this new environment? Based on, I would obviously think that if you surround yourself with the right technology, you'll be in high demand and you'll do very well no matter what you do. But obviously, you got to figure out a strategy around that.
Yeah, flawless execution and a strategy for sure. Focused creative strategy.
Yeah, exactly. We bouncing. We really focused on AI. I know we did that all year long. We keep getting stuck into that, but we really will have a lower interest rate environment. And I wonder if some of the traditional businesses on that list that we've published here, fix and flip homes. I encouraging my son, who's his girlfriend's an architect. He's an architect. She's also an interior designer, and I'm encouraging him to think about buying properties and starting to flip them in an environment where the interest rates are going down, and then eventually house prices go up. It's a pretty bad business when you're trying to flip a property and the property prices drop 20%. It's not a business model that can work, but one where the opposite happens, where you start to see a rising market and interest rates. So on the list, we've got a few of them. We have that one. We have Airbnbs. We still think that's going to be a strong opportunity if you can figure out the right formula there. I know we in our incubator have a company with 19 Airbnbs in it, so it's like a an interesting one to watch and to track. And then even Airbnb management, we think that's going to be, when I say Airbnb, it could be VRBO or whatnot, but we think that could be a good business opportunity. What do you think about the whole real estate side? Look, 80% of people build their wealth through real estate, Michelle. And we often talk, we're talking about AI, but what about real estate in 2026? I think this is the time where every country's got different regional issues and challenges, and Canada versus the US and whatnot. But I think this is going to be a good year for real estate businesses. What are your thoughts, Michelle or
Well, I don't think it has been so
No, it has been
far.
horrible. I know
And
that.
I don't know that it's
That's
suddenly
why
going
we're
to
doing the
turn
show. We're
around.
trying to predict.
I don't think that it's suddenly going to turn around. I'm sorry, I don't. I think it's going to take time. Like these things don't turn on a dime.
Yeah, and if you're saying to someone today in Toronto to get involved in real estate, they're like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 year, 3 years ago, everybody was buying as much as they possibly could, and they all lost their shirts. Market's down 25%. But now you're looking at a market where the interest rates are starting to fall. And look, I'm just suggesting we look at these
Well,
trends and try to get ahead of them. Paige?
hey, yeah, I would say that it's much more regional than you think. I have a completely different view. Real estate where I am in middle rural Tennessee is thriving. We have wait lists for new housing developments. We have houses sold before they're built. I can only expect that
That's the
AI.
old way. That used to happen mostly everywhere around the United States. They pre-construction that used to sell before they're built. Sorry.
I just meant in terms of the demand that for the remote worker has changed the people who can live a lot of different places in our country. And these areas are outside cities, even outside old cities or along interstates. You're getting these corridors between Huntsville and Nashville. And it's just a different, I think it's a different market. Of real estate with what is Bezos' thing called, Alive or Live or something anyway. So I think it's regional. But here's one I want to throw out there if I could. I don't want to mess with the agenda.
No, go ahead.
I almost, and you've enjoyed having 1 foot in digital and 1 foot in real with your Airbnb.
Because I
I,
make the money from tech and
yeah,
pop it into real estate.
for me, I think food business, people spend money on food at a level that I don't think we've ever seen before. And I would call it food, but it's also the experience of food. And when I think about sometimes when you're trying to drive a little bit of revenue, whether it's in one of my domain businesses or one of my whatever, you feel like you're scratching. Everyone wants everything for free online and this, that, and the other. And then a family will spend $160 on dinner 3 times a week. And and I'm not sure how to take advantage of that other than that, like you say, one feeds the other. So I'm got an eye on food related businesses because of the percentage of people's real income that gets spent there. What do you think?
Yeah, number 26 on our list is launch a ghost restaurant. This idea that you can launch a restaurant that no one sees physically, but maybe it's a truck, a food truck or whatever, but then you're killing it on Uber Eats. You become a master marketer of Uber Eats and you own a niche. I know in Fort Lauderdale here
You know what I saw?
we could use a few Lebanese
But let me,
restaurants,
oh my God,
Ethiopian.
we're
There could be a
boring.
good
We're
opportunity there.
so boring. We're so not diversified over here. But yeah,
Yeah.
so there's not even a good Chinese restaurant. I'm sorry for
Nah, it's
not,
been horrible down
yeah.
here.
All
But
right,
Toronto's a
so
little different story.
I
But
wait, I
the idea
saw
is
an
ghost restaurants, right?
interesting article I want to just tell Paige about since we haven't talked to him and it feels like forever. But there's this whole thing about people wanting to experience. I think it was in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, where it was talking about where people were paying lots of money to get these very high end restaurant, just the reservation page, the whole experiential thing. So yeah, like maybe people are shifting more towards quality, I'm going to say. Like for me, I'm not your order from Uber Eats or Instacart kind of person. I think it's sorry for those who
Crazy. Let's
do.
just
And
say
I
it's
know it's
crazy. It's
popular.
crazy. It's
It's,
crazy expensive. It's stupid
and I won't do
expensive.
it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
won't do it.
I
But
do it. I
I,
But
do it
one of
all the
the
time.
things
I do it every week. I do it like
yeah,
one
three
of
but
the
you're
times a
not
things
week.
us. You're
right,
not
but your
us.
time value of money is a lot different than ours, Colin. You're a $50,000 an hour guy. It's but I think that one of the things I'm thinking about is I think the younger generation, because I have two daughters in their 20s, are finally starting to understand where you spend your money makes a difference in your long-term wealth. You know what I mean? And we stopped teaching that in schools a long time ago. So I think this idea of economization, but they're still going to want the experience. So I'm trying to play around with something, Colin,
There is
Michelle,
something there. There is something there. Go.
about it's almost if you've got come over to my house, I'll make dinner for
Oh
six
my
of us.
God.
We'll still have social, but we will
Yes.
pay the food cost, not the restaurant cost. There's something there. I just haven't figured
Right.
it out.
I was talking to one of my younger friends this week, Taina here. She's very into art and curates art. She was saying, oh my gosh, I read about this really cool restaurant this woman does out of her house. You have to wait like a year and it's this whole experience and she cooks for you and everything's farm to table. I was like, tell me tell me the website. I'm going to go sign up and get a reservation for 6 people. To me, I would rather do something like that than spend 3 times a week doing takeout and all that. To me, that would be like an amazing way to feel like I was like doing something that's quality. And I obviously like food as well.
On both the real estate and the food topic, I think curated experiences or those IG
Oh,
moments
that's a good way to say it.
are still pretty hot, especially
Yeah.
the IG moments. If you haven't, I'm not a big fan of short term rentals and what it does to communities in the long run, but they are very active. But I think that those that create those like unique spots for pictures, or here's a mural that you can go ahead and post on your Instagram or create a TikTok, and for that influencer vibe that is still very much prominent in this year, probably definitely carrying over to 2026, those quick moment wins. And even hopefully like for families, yeah, if they are spending $160 to go out and eat in this current economy and with everyone wanting to save a couple dollars here and there, then hopefully it's something that lasts a memory, that creates a memory for them, or that's what we're
Right.
transitioning.
And you know what? People are always going to want to save money, and I don't care what the economy is. I think we all want value for our money, and to
Yes.
know, like Paige was saying, like his daughters are starting to realize their personal, I'll say their personal economics. Like that's a natural thing, and it's always there.
Yeah, and we saw an employee yesterday get ripped off for $250 trying to buy concert tickets. And I'm thinking, is there a business around cybersecurity? Is there a business around this complicated world of helping avoid fraud? And that's interesting too. There's just so many different directions we're going to head in 2026 and so many opportunities. You've been listening to Serial Entrepreneur Secrets Revealed. This is a podcast. It's a live show on Clubhouse. You've been listening to Paige and Aileen and Shadows and the other guests that we had on here as well. Hey, Doctor, nice to see you in the audience there. We love doing this show. We're gonna kick it off again in January. We got the next 2 weeks off, Thursday and Friday. Obviously, it's the holidays, the Christmas and the New Year's. But we're going to kick it off. We have a really strong lineup in 2026 of serial entrepreneurs, authors. We've got some great topics. We do the time to sell index, which now we've been running now for 18 months. It's starting to come back. We're starting to see a more positive environment. We're not quite there yet when it comes to a buyer's market or seller's market, sorry. But we do that every month in our newsletter and we include the time to sell index, and that's just go to startup.club, sign up to the newsletter. It's really a pretty cool newsletter. We put a lot into it, and we only do it once a month. We only do it once a month, and it's really in depth. I call it a masterclass every month for free. We do have some exciting things as well coming out next year. The book Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat won 37 global awards. We came out with the Start workbook. In January, we'll be coming out with the Scale workbook. Our team has been working on that for a year and a half, and we've collaborated with two other companies to get this book to market. It's been a lot longer and a lot more challenging than we thought it would be, but it really is a guide to help you scale your business with a lot of exercises, practical exercises you can do to scale it. I think it's going to be an incredible year. Anyone want last words? Anyone want to throw this out there? 2026. I'm loving it.
Colin, thanks for having me up. Great to see everybody. It has been a while, but I love the way you do your work with Start, Scale, and Repeat. And what I keep hearing over and over again is be adaptable, be ready for anything. I feel like you're preparing athletes. You're not coaching people on one thing to do, you're preparing people. So, yeah, I'd love to get more involved with the website and anything I can contribute. Happy 2026.
All right, great. Michelle or Aileen or Shadows, any last 2026 message?
Congrats on a successful 2025. I've enjoyed the inclusive nature of the talks that the team and you host. So thank you all. Looking forward to more in 2026, and I'll definitely reach out for the contributor conversation, and as visibility is something I'm going to be challenging myself on next year.
Yeah, if you want to establish, if you have an expertise, and you do, obviously, and everyone here has an expertise, if you want to get featured on the front page of Google for your expertise, this is the best way to do it. And you could just email hello@startup.club. Mimi, she was here earlier. She's our editor. She's the one who runs it. Kyle helps run the actual physical incubator here in Fort Lauderdale. He's in the audience there. But just send an email to hello@startup.club. Say, I'd love to be a contributor, and we'd love to have you write a story. You can't use AI when you write the stories or your articles. You can use it for research and whatnot, but you can't use it for publishing. We're very careful about how we publish on Startup.club because it gets us great exposure. I know Shadows Renee just popped on stage too. Shadows, any last 2026?
All the best for everybody in 2026.
Awesome. Renee?
Yeah, hi. I love your rooms. Colin, could you say just a couple sentences about your incubator?
We run an incubator. We've been doing it now for about 5 years here in Fort Lauderdale. We've got about 20 companies I've invested in. There are a lot of companies now that I've not invested in. I stopped investing about 8 months ago. I guess I got one more company I'm still investing in now, or two, for 2026, but I've pretty much stopped investing in additional companies at this stage, just focusing on the current portfolio that we have here. But it's a lot of fun. And it's just, if you get a chance to work in an incubator or to work in a shared office space, like, we're tiny. And yet I can't believe how much everybody helps each other out. Everybody helps each other out. It's a small community, but it's a powerful community, just like Clubhouse. All right, you've been listening to Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, Serial Entrepreneur Secrets Revealed. And we play the show every Friday, 2 o'clock on Clubhouse. We will see you all in 2026.
And have an amazing holiday with your friends and family, everyone. And we're looking forward to seeing you next year. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Bye for now.